Hello friends, welcome back to the channel, or if you are new here, welcome. Like most families this time of year, our family is super busy. We also just got in from out of town over the weekend, and I know that this coming week is going to be insane. Christmas is right around the corner. We also celebrate 2 birthdays coming up later this week, and it is just going to be crazy. We also have the last week of school before our Christmas vacation. So we're going to be trying to get everything jam-packed into this week, and I know that it's going to be a lot. So because of that, I'm trying to help my future self out, and I am preparing some food that we can just quickly warm up or heat in the oven and be able to eat it pretty quickly, so then we don't really have to worry about that. I'm also going to be focusing on meals this week. You'll see that in my Friday video, that are prepared ahead of time and then just thrown quickly in the oven. I'm going to do a lot of like casserole type dishes, and then a couple crock pot meals too. So my theme for the week is super easy and very minimal effort. I'm starting off today's video making an egg casserole. This is something I make all the time. It is one of my kids' favorite things, and I love having this on hand because I can just throw a bunch of stuff together, whatever I have on hand, and mix it together, put it in the oven, and I have breakfast for most of the week. For the egg casserole, like I said, I kind of use pretty much whatever I have on hand. This week I had some breakfast sausage, so I did breakfast sausage, and then I put that into this baking dish with some hash browns. I put eggs, cheese, and some milk in, and then I really only season it with like salt and pepper. But like I said, you could throw a bunch of different things in here. Sometimes I do mushrooms or peppers, onions, bacon. You can have it without any meat. It really just varies however you want to do it, but it is so simple and it warms up really well for you to be able to prepare meals for the entire week. This casserole is also one of my go-to things for Christmas morning. So if you're looking for a really good hearty meal, we host usually for Christmas, and so I don't really do lunch or anything. What I do is I'll prepare this egg casserole the night before, I'll cover it, and then in the morning, while we are doing gifts, I'll have this going in the oven, and then I can pull it out after gifts and we have breakfast. And that way, after we have gifts and all that stuff in the morning, I can go right into preparing for the meal that evening. It really does not get easier than a rotisserie chicken, and I've recently found that you can actually get them a lot cheaper than a whole chicken now. So I have been opting to get the rotisserie chickens. I like shredding the meat off the bone and then using it in multiple recipes for the week. I also like taking those bones, and you'll see it in a little bit here, and putting them on the stove and making a nice broth out of it for recipes throughout the week. So I will be doing that shortly, but right now I have some of the rotisserie chicken in this bowl, and I'm going to be making a bowl of chicken salad. I also don't know if this is just my Walmart or if other Walmarts do this, but you can get a colder rotisserie chicken, so one that is cooked but not in the hot box. It will be in the cold section. It's kind of like by the ribs and stuff, I want to say. So it's like over there in the meat section, but you can get those for about $3 each. So when they have those, I usually will get those because I put them right in my fridge usually anyway, to use in recipes. If we are using it right away and just having a rotisserie chicken for dinner, then I'll get it from the hot box. But if I can find them in the cold section for recipes, I usually will get one of those. Like I said, I'm not sure if that is everybody's Walmart or just mine that does that, because that's the only one I've actually seen it at. I know that chicken salad can be made a variety of ways, and you can really put a ton of different things in it. I like mine with like nuts and apples. I like grapes, but I usually will not add them. I like the crunch of the apples, so usually I will add some diced up apples, and I am adding that today. However, my kids are going to be eating this for lunch and they do not like all those things in it. So I'm keeping it very simple. I can get away with giving them some celery and some diced up apples, but really if I get beyond that, they won't eat it. So I'm keeping it very simple, and this way they'll eat it on crackers or bread, or honestly, sometimes just in a bowl with, a fork. So it is very easy to have this in the fridge and be able to take out for a really quick lunch. While I am chopping up veggies, I'm also going to be adding whatever is remaining into my veggie tray over here. I also like having this on hand because then I can pull it out, and it makes for a really quick and easy snack. You know, a lot of times I will pull out a veggie tray and like some cheese and crackers, and we'll do that for a meal. I really love that. It's like an adult Lunchable, and my kids really enjoy it too. So I like having this veggie tray ready to go, and I can just pull it right out of the fridge and have a quick, easy snack, and not have to have, chips and salsa, which is usually my family's go-to. My kids love chips and salsa. But if I have one of these veggie trays in the fridge, they will actually munch on that before they will get out the chips and salsa. I usually use a red onion in my chicken salad. However, I didn't have one, and I just didn't. I did get a decent amount of groceries this week when we got back, but it was basically because we were so out of food. We tried to go through all of our food before we left town and to clean out the fridge. And because of that, we came home to pretty much no food. So I did get really basic stuff, but it was a lot of it. So I didn't end up getting any red onions. That was something I forgot. So I'm just using a tiny bit of this white onion because my kids, they're not huge with onions, but I know that it gives that really good flavor. So I only used a little bit of it, and then a dollop of mayo. I'll mix that up, some salt and pepper if you want, but that is pretty much it for mine. The next thing I'm making is this buffalo chicken dip. I like doing this for a quick snack, and then also my husband loves this. This is one of his favorite dips, so he will often bring it to work for lunch, and he eats it like on chips, but I have some kids that eat it on crackers. I actually like eating it with the veggie tray, so you can eat it a variety of ways. And to be completely honest, this recipe, I've posted it before, but it looks different every single time because I refuse to get out my book for this and actually look up the recipe, because every time I make it, I'm like, I swear I know how to do it, and then I kind of struggle halfway through, but I refuse to get out the book. Really, I'm just the problem. So it generally has 2 cans of chicken. I put in, and you know what, I don't think I always put in cream cheese, but I did put in 1 block of softened cream cheese, some mayo, a good amount of hot sauce, and I did a decent amount this time. And it was funny because my son Theo was sitting right there, and he's like, "More hot sauce? Really?" but it looks like a lot, but really it wasn't. So anyway, this recipe, it does look different every time I make it, but generally it is so good. You can warm it up like in a casserole dish in the oven. I never do that. I like I said, having it with veggies, and I like warm buffalo dip, but I've noticed that this is one of my favorites when it's actually not warmed. So this is good to put out, especially with the coming holidays, to put out with like a veggie tray, stuff like that, because people love this dip. So I'm using the rest of this bottle that we have on hand. It wasn't even a quarter of a cup. I want to say it was like an eighth. That's what we had left. This is basically Frank's Red Hots. However, I get the Aldi brand, and I swear it's like the exact same. So that is the one we get. It is like half the price at Aldi, and it's exactly the same. So there wasn't enough there, so I did get out a new bottle to be able to kind of get more of that buffalo flavor. And this is, again, another one of those things that I don't measure because it's really a preference. If you like more of the buffalo flavoring and heat, then you would add more. If you don't, then you would add less. So I'm just kind of eyeballing it, and then I have taste testers ready to go on standby. So they are going to taste it and make sure it is what we want. And if you've been here a while, you know that I absolutely love celery. So I diced up a couple of stalks of celery. It might have actually just been one stalk of celery, and then I diced it up in really small pieces and put that in. I like to go a step further and actually dip pieces of celery in this. I don't know what my thing is, but as I've gotten older, I just absolutely love celery. So this is how it turns out. Like I said, my husband often eats it on tortilla chips. You can do crackers or pita chips. I like to do veggies. So however you want it, but it is such a great dip to have on hand. One thing that I really wanted to go to Aldi for was their cheese. They have such a good cheese selection. I did notice that Walmart was a little bit cheaper, but they don't have as much of a selection at mine than Aldi does. So I went there and got a variety of cheeses and crackers and like some salami, stuff like that, to make a cheese platter. I often do slice up all the cheese and salami and put that into like a platter in the fridge, so then I have that ready to go. It's already sliced and I don't have to worry about that throughout the week. But I just did not end up doing that this time. I just put it back into the bag and left it for future me, unfortunately. However, my kids, they love this. Like I said, for snacks, for actual meals, it's like an adult Lunchable. They love having it, and I don't buy Lunchables, so this is pretty much as good as it gets for a Lunchable for them, but they really love it. If you notice, I'm switching out my knives quite frequently. I need to sharpen these, and they are driving me crazy. So that is why I kept going between a couple different ones, because I'm like, well, maybe this one will do better. I need to just spend some time and actually sharpen my knives. So that is why I was switching between them, and we end up getting the job done, but I do need to do that before Christmas gets here. This was the salami that I ended up getting for the cheese platter, and I think I'm the only one that actually likes it. It reminds me of something, and I can't even think what it is, but it tastes like something, and I don't even know what it is. But I think I'm the only one that actually is eating it. My kids, they don't like the flavor, so I'll end up having this for a snack, but I'll have to switch it next time I do this. While they were in here snacking, you can see them getting into the buffalo dip and just kind of going wild with it. But while they were in here snacking, Theo told me I needed more cucumbers, so I'm cutting up some cucumbers. I like to get the like little mini ones. I feel like they have a better crunch, so I generally will get a couple bags of those and cut those up throughout the week. I also love these sweet peppers. They are one of my favorite things on a veggie tray, so I'm going to dice up that. And I also got those at Aldi. I felt like they were cheaper than the Walmart ones. They were only like $1 or something. And I couldn't remember how much the Walmart ones were, but I thought it was like 3. So anyway, I got a bag of those, and I like how I'm not the only one that eats them, but they do last a little longer in my house. I was joking with my mom because I bought a big bag of grapes, and my kids, they ate them in one sitting, like the entire bag of grapes. And I was just like, they ate an entire week's worth of grapes in one sitting. So our grapes are gone, but we do have plenty of these sweet peppers and cucumbers and stuff. So this is our veggie tray. I have, I'll put the lid on that and put that in the fridge so we can have that throughout the week. And throughout the week, as things are kind of disappearing from it, I'll just go ahead and add more. Now, I'm going to be starting on some cookies, and I'm doubling the batch because I wanted to make a huge package of mini cookies, and I end up forgetting halfway through that I'm making them mini. So some are normal size cookies and some are mini, but either way it works out and they will all get eaten. Now, I don't always do this, but I had gotten some cookies from the store that were like Christmas themed. So I wanted to put them out on a tray for the kids to be able to have as a snack too. So I didn't end up getting any chocolate chip cookies. We often will just make those from scratch. So that is what I'm doing. I'm making a large batch of that where I can put a couple of those on the tray with the Christmas themed cookies. I realize that not everybody's weekly prep is going to look like mine. It will vary depending on what you're doing, if you're going to work, if your kids are going to school. My kids are homeschooled, so they are home throughout the day. And like I said, my prep even varies from week to week. Sometimes I am more heavily focused on meal prep and kind of getting everything chopped up and ready for meals. This week I'm doing stuff a little bit different for meals, so I'm not as worried about that. This week I am mostly focusing on quick and easy breakfast and lunches and snacks. My kids are home, they are huge snackers, and I don't like to buy a bunch of snacks. That's something that can really add up. So most of the time I like to make our snacks. I usually will get some type of variety from the store just in case we run out of the homemade ones, but generally those are for like backup purposes. I was also originally planning on doing like a Christmas cookie baking, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to that or not. This whole last week kind of threw me off from being out of town very last minute. It was unexpected, and I am trying to figure out where I'm going to go and kind of plan things from here. So I'm hopeful that I can do some Christmas cookie baking, but I'm not positive at this point if I'm going to be able to squeeze that in. I'm curious if you are someone that does Christmas baking, what are generally the things that you make? For years and years and years, we have done a Christmas baking day where we bake a variety of Christmas cookies, and then I put them in tins. We give them to people. My husband always brings them to work, and it's something that we, specifically my daughter and I, have done for a really, really long time. So it's sad, and I hope that I'll be able to get to it this year, but we'd like to do a variety of cookies. I like to do peanut butter cookies, of course our chocolate chip. We're kind of known for these chocolate chip cookies. I like the thumbprint ones. Those might be my favorite. We do snickerdoodles. I do something called Grinch cookies, and really it's just what are they? I don't even know what they're called. They're crinkle cookies. They're called crinkle cookies, but I will add dye in them usually, like red and green, and then so it kind of gives a more Christmassy effect, and we call them Grinch cookies. So we do a variety of things. It kind of is just whatever we're feeling, and a lot of times I'll let my daughter have a say in that and kind of decide what we're going to be making that year. So again, I don't know if we'll be able to get to them. I hope we will be able to, but I'm curious, what are some cookies or baked goods that you generally make each year if you are a Christmas baker? I'm going to be putting together a little cookie platter. This is something that I usually will do for the holidays too. When we host, I'll put together something like this. I got this package of butter cookies from Walmart, and honestly, I feel like I got it mostly for the tin. I thought it was so cute, and I wanted to keep the tin and kind of reuse it. So I got these butter cookies. I also got some other assortments from Aldi, and the kids really loved the Aldi one. They liked these too, but I think the Aldi one was the clear winner for the different butter cookies and shortbreads and stuff that I put out. So another reason I also will put out a couple, and then I will leave some in the tins, and then at the end of the evening, I will usually, whatever is not eaten, I put back away. So it's not sitting in this tin and kind of getting stale or anything like that. So I do like to keep the packaging until all of it's gone, just so I can put it back and keep them more fresh. I went upstairs and got this big Tupperware down. I like to store, it's pretty big. I feel like you can't even tell how massive it is. I got this a couple years ago from Walmart, and I like to store our Christmas cookies and baked goods in it every holiday season. So I went upstairs and I got that out of storage, and I'm going to be putting all of our chocolate chip cookies in it. I'm not sure if Walmart is not carrying these containers anymore, or it could just possibly be mine is a small Walmart and they don't have them, but I didn't see any. I went to go get some for, preparations for our cookie baking, but I couldn't find them. So I don't know if Walmart is not selling these anymore or if it's just mine. Another thing that I have found is if you go to thrift stores, a lot of times people donate old tins, and so you can get those and you just wash those out and put cookies in those. I always love that idea, but the thrift stores that I go to, they've really upped their price, and I have a hard time finding them for actually a pretty good price. So I always have my eye out on stuff like that, but I am not always so successful. Now I'm going to be using the bones and whatever was remaining on the bones in this big stock pot, and I'll go ahead and make some broth. I have some things from my freezer, like the ends and the skins of onions that I like to keep, celery ends and leaves, a variety of things like that from vegetables that you don't usually use. I also have other turkey bones and stuff like that in my freezer that I keep, and then once the bag is full is usually when I will make a big pot of broth. So I put that in the stock pot, I covered it with water, and I'm going to let that simmer for a very long time. I often do a couple of days before I jar it and put it in the fridge. In the meantime, while that is going, I am making something that I call chicken Fiesta dip. I'm not going to go ahead and put this in the oven just yet. I'm going to make it because I did use some of the rotisserie chicken for it. So while I had all the ingredients out, I'm just preparing it. Then I'll cover it and put it in the fridge, and I'll make it in a couple of days when we start running low on our dips and other snacks. I usually will make this in a mixing dish and then pour it into this pie pan before I bake it, but I have a bunch of dishes this day from preparing all this food, so I am not about to dirty another dish. I am just mixing it right in the pan and saving myself a little bit of, maybe just one dish, one mixing bowl, but that's okay. That still matters. I'll put the recipe down below in the description box for this one. This one is probably the most favorite that I ever serve. I serve this a lot for parties and get-togethers because this goes over so well with guests. So my family really likes it, but also this is something that I usually plan on making for the holidays too, as a nice little appetizer while everybody is here. So I'll have the recipe down below if you want to try it out yourself, but it is such an easy thing to throw together. The only difference that you will notice from me mixing and the recipe down below is I completely forgot that you're supposed to add bacon to it. So that is the only difference. I did not add the bacon, but I feel like because it has chicken and everything and cheese, and I feel like it is going to be fine. So we've never had it without bacon, but there's really not enough of bacon in the recipe to, I feel like, make a huge difference. So I'll let you know whenever we try it if it does make a difference, but I really don't think it's going to. I always slice the tomatoes in half and then arrange them in some way on top. This is totally optional. You don't have to do that. I feel like it adds a cute little touch, and I like the bite of tomatoes. I know not everybody likes tomatoes, but I like them, and so it is enough to where I will get some tomatoes, but if you don't like them, you can avoid them. So like I said, I am not going to be making this right now. Usually I'll pop it in the oven until it's nice and bubbly and golden brown, but I'm going to reserve this for a couple of days, and I'll put that in the oven for, you know, when we start to run low on our buffalo chicken dip or anything like that. And then I can pull this out and have this for dinner or whatever we need to do. As like a nice little dip that they can have on the side, or as a snack, or whatever we're going to use it for. I'm going to save it for a couple of days before I go ahead and bake it. So I covered that, put that in the fridge, and now I am starting on some burritos. And really this was so last minute that I decided to do this. I had 1 pound of ground turkey, and I'm like, you know what? It will be so super easy. I'll throw these together, put them in the freezer, and that would be a really quick lunch for my husband to grab for work, or the kids if they want that. They actually really love having those on hand. So my 2 oldest in particular, they usually will go for the burritos and eat them throughout the week for lunch. So I wanted to go ahead and make that super quick because it really is it's such an easy recipe. So I browned the pound of ground turkey, and I didn't add onions. I mean, you can add whatever you want to it. A lot of times I'll do onions and peppers and stuff like that. I didn't because I have it on hand. I just did not feel like doing all that. So I browned that. I added in a can of black beans that I rinsed and drained. You could do a package of taco seasoning. I did just a variety of taco seasonings. So like cumin, chili powder, garlic, onion powder, salt, pepper, and that made a perfect mixture. I am going to be topping these tortillas with that mixture and a pile of cheddar cheese on top, and then I'll wrap them and let them cool down, and then I will put them into a freezer baggie where they can go in the freezer, and then you can quickly just take out, however many you're wanting, and microwave them, or you could put them in the oven or on the stove, however you want to do it. But it makes such a quick and easy lunch once you have it already prepared and ready to go. And honestly, it comes together so quickly too. There was a thought in my head to go a step further and do breakfast burritos because my kids and my husband really love those too. I also had gotten some English muffins to do like breakfast sandwiches, But because I had done the egg casserole, I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to overdo it and just stuff the freezer right before Christmas. So I will reserve that for another time. But if you're wanting something other than just like these kind of burritos, another great option is to do the breakfast sandwich or a breakfast burrito. They heat up so well and they're really easy to throw together. But anyway, that is all I have for you today. I'm going to wrap up these burritos, put them in a freezer bag, like I said, and I am calling it a night. I still have a lot of unpacking to do, and I'm a little unsure. I know in my previous video I mentioned, what I had planned as far as videos, but because of how everything worked out with the internet and everything, I'm not quite sure the order or what videos in particular are going to go out when. So stay tuned, but I do have so much planned for Christmas, so I'm really excited to share all that with you, and I hope that you will stick around and join me for the holidays. But anyway, that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and doing some meal prep for the week. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.